Alright, hey guys, I'm going to be going over our workbook pages from earlier this week with the answers. Feel free to send me a message in case, look for a marker, in case you have any questions still after I go over this. Feel free to go back and correct your answers within your books, and we'll kind of go from there. So starting on page 159, I'm going to write all the questions down on this board, and then I'll hold it up for a second for people to see. Feel free to pause it so you can look over it, right? Because I'm not going to hold it up there the whole time, but try to give you time. So practice 1 says, identify the type of prism and the shapes of the faces. So the first one, number 1, is a triangular prism. Right? It's a box, triangle with some triangular faces and rectangular faces. So question number 2 says, 2 of its faces are which shape? They are triangles. And number 3, 3 of its faces are rectangles. Then for number 4, it says this shape is a rectangular prism, right? It's a box made up of rectangles. All of its faces are rectangles. Okay, so for page 159, a little bit of a glare, there we go. Page 159, number 1, triangular. Number 2, triangles. Number 3, rectangles. Number 4, rectangular. Number 5, rectangles. All right, let's move on to the next page. We have a prism there. Bonus points if anyone knew what that prism was. If you see on the front and the back, we have a trapezoid. So, number of faces. There's the top, the bottom, the left and right sides, and the front and the back. That's 6 total faces. So 6, A, number of faces is 6. B, number of edges, that's the number of lines. There's 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, and 4 that are vertical. 4, 4, and 4 gives us 12 edges. And finally, number of vertices at the corners. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the bottom. 8. Next, number 7, we have a different type of triangular prism, similar to a wedge of cheese, it looks like, or a cheesecake. That sounds really good right now. If any parents want to send along a delivery from the Cheesecake Factory, I will message you my address. Hint, hint, wink, wink. All right. Number of faces, we have top and bottom, and then 3 sides around. So that's a total of 5 faces. Number of edges, we have 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and 3 vertical edges. That's a total of 9. And C, number of vertices, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. That gives us 6. Okay, next. That has a 5-sided face on the front and back. That's a pentagon. So this is kind of a fun word to say. It's a pentagonal prism. Okay, so first, number of faces. We have the front and back, and then 5 around the sides. So that gives us 7 faces. Number of edges, we have 5 in the front, 5 in the back, 5 around. That gives us 15. And then edges, 5 in the front, vertices, 5 in the front, 5 in the back. That gives us 10. Okay. Next, we're on to pyramids. Number 9, that is a triangular pyramid. And all of its faces, for number 10, are made up of triangles. There we go. So there are our answers for page 160. I put A, B, and C for the table. That's just A is number of faces, B is number of edges, C is number of vertices. Okay, on to our next one, page 161. Okay, number 11, at the bottom, it kind of looks, it's because of the way they're trying to show the 3D shape, it kind of looks like a rhombus or a parallelogram, but what they're going for is that is at an angle, that is a square pyramid. Okay. One of its faces, number 12, is a square. Surprise, surprise. Number 13, 4 of its faces are triangles. Okay, and then we're going to do the same exercise in this table, but for these pyramids. On the bottom of number 14, we see a 5-sided figure. Again, penta meaning 5. That is a pentagonal pyramid. So, number of faces. A, 1 on the bottom, 5 around. That's 6 faces. Number of edges. We have 5 on the bottom, 5 that are vertical. That gives us 10. C, number of vertices. 1 at the top, 5 at the bottom. That gives us 6 vertices. Number 15, that's a 6-sided shape, and that is hexa, meaning 6. So, this is a hexagonal pyramid. All right, starting with number of faces. 1 on the bottom, 6 going around the outside. That's a total of 7. Number of edges, 6 on the bottom, 6 going straight up and down. That gives us 12 edges. And then vertices, 1 at the top, 6 around the bottom. That is 7. You'll see a little bit of a pattern here for the pyramids. The number of vertices and the number of faces is always 1 more than the number of sides of the base. So for 14, that was a pentagon, 5. Each of those answers was 1 more than that, 6. And then for number 15, hexa, that's 6. And as we can see, it's hard to do mirror style, both of those is 1 more, it's 7. And then with the faces, we see it's double the amount. So we said penta 5, there are 10 edges. Hexa, there are 6, there are 12, which is twice as many. So that's just a fun little pattern to notice. All right, we skipped 162, and we went on to page 163. Okay, 162, that is more something we'll get to with surface area a little bit. All right, so it says identify each solid shape. For this is page 163. I haven't always been putting the page numbers up here, so I'm going to try and stay a little bit more consistent there. Number 1, that's a cone. Number 2, a sphere. Number 3 is a cylinder. Number 4 is also a cone, just the other way around, right? Upside down. Okay. Number 5 asks, identify the base of each solid shape. Well, all of these are circular type 3-dimensional shapes, so a lot of their bases are just going to be circles. Because of the angle, just like in our previous one with the square pyramid, it looks like an oval, but it's because they're trying to show a 3-dimensional shape on a 2D surface, so it's a little bit more difficult to do. It has to do with perspective, right, which we talked about all the way back during the Renaissance, right, in both art and history. So for 5 and 6, our answer is just, there's a circle as its base. Okay, so there are answers for page 163. Cone, sphere, cylinder, cone, circle, circle. Okay. Last page, page 164. Okay. We have 4 questions here. Number 10 I got the most questions on. And so I'm going to kind of show you, I'm going to go get something real quick and show you what they were trying to go for. So let me grab my shapes. And here's what they were attempting to get us to do. So in number 1, they have a sphere, and they said if we just looked at it straight on, what is that shape? And if we looked at this, if we flattened this and it was just a 2D shape, that would just be a circle. So for number 7, the answer is circle. Okay, the next one they have a cone. And so same thing, if we took a cone and looked at it straight on and it was flat, it looks just like a triangle. All right, so for number 8, that's a triangle. And for number 9, they took a cylinder, and if we took that and looked at it straight on, it looks more like a rectangle. Okay, looks just like a rectangular surface. Now number 10, there were a handful of different answers you could do. We hadn't talked about nets yet. They were asking us to just do a flattened version of that. So today's lesson we'll be learning about nets, so hopefully this will make a little bit more sense after that. A couple different answers you could have, right? So what they gave you was this. Right, a circle with a line. Couple ways you could have completed the cylinder. You could have just put another circle on the end and connected it at the top like that. I would accept that. All right. Some that I saw online looked like this, where they put a rectangle and then they put the circle on the other end like that, like they had peeled it apart, right? I don't recommend doing this because you might cut yourself, but if you ever have a can and you can do a can opener and then you flatten out one of the circles off to the side and then cut the bottom off it and flatten that side and then cut it right down the middle and flatten out the middle, right? You could have something that looks like this, right? That would work as well. Any of those are acceptable. We'll talk more about that today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and message me. I know a handful already have, and I've tried to help clarify this. Good job so far. Keep up the good work, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye.